Good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching this. I'm going to go through another training session today. I'm going to warm up. I've got some plyometric work to do, then some deadlifts, some light push press, metcon, some accessory work, then I'm going to have a break, something to eat, and then start again with some gymnastics stuff, some handstand walks, maybe some muscle ups, and then some intervals on the ski erg for some fun. And then tonight I'll do some more intervals on the assault bike, so there'll be 0 rest intervals. So basically when you would be resting, instead of resting, you hold your endurance pace in that period between the hard rounds. So that'll be good fun. Looking forward to today's training session, the deadlift in waves, which I've not done for a long time. So I'll explain a bit more of that when I get to it. But yeah, enjoy the video.
Get through it, and the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, no fake love,
All warmed up, ready to go. I'm going to start my first set, which is 125 for 10. So I'm going to do 125 for 10, 140 for 8, then 155 for 6, then go back down to 140 for 10, 155 for 8, and then 170 for 6. So that's how the wave works. So going up on the wave, then back down, and then repeat the same thing, but heavier. Essentially, the second round will feel a bit easier than the first round. Something called post-activation potentiation, which basically means when you've lifted a heavy weight, lifting the lighter weights will feel easier.
Yes, science!
So I'll get on with that, and I'll show the reps. One thing you might notice is I do the first rep with a hook grip, and then I do the rest of the reps with a mixed grip. That's to make sure that I can still pull with both grips, regardless of what the workout is. I tend to use straps only for accessories or if my hands are particularly torn up, but they're not too bad to start with today, so we'll go without and see how it goes. First wave is done. Now I'm going to go on to the second wave, which is basically the same but 15 kilos heavier. So 140 for 10, 155 for 8, and 170 for 6, which is not a terrible weight to be starting deadlift block with. I think I pulled just up to 180 for a single last week, just to test the waters and see how things were. So yeah, we can get on with the second wave and see how they go. something else that's worth noting is between sets of heavy or relatively heavy deadlifts, squat, stuff like that, I like to walk just for 30 seconds to a minute. So what happens is in your lower back, the muscles in your lower back start to tighten, and you know, very small blood vessels, and essentially blood can then pool in your lower back, and that can cause discomfort, and you get that pump feeling in your lower back, which makes your back feel quite stiff. So when you walk, that action of extending your hip can help keep those muscles in your lower back moving, keep the blood flowing, and stop your back from ending up tightening up and cramping up between sets of stuff. So between all these sets of deadlifts, I'm just walking for 30-45 seconds. So by the time I've done that, change the weights, move the camera, it's probably about 2 minutes rest between each round. So hopefully that helps someone out. That was definitely on the tougher sets. So just got last round of 170 for 6. That last one, it was hard work. I had to take a bit of a break between the last few reps, but managed to get it done. So 170 for 6, and then move on to some accessories. So see if I can manage to do it. And if you're watching Vorzy, which I know you definitely are, you're one of my 3 most loyal fans. So Vorzy, my mum, and then me on the other iPad. Still looks like I've got another subscriber, maybe, possibly. I'm coming for you. I realise that you just deadlifted like 290, but just got 120 kilos to go, and I'll catch you up, so watch out. The trick to make yourself feel really strong is use all the plastic weights, so it looks like you can't fit any more weight on the bar. Well, wasn't that hard work? What I just said about Vorzy, yeah, you can ignore that. I think my soul left my body a little bit. Kept in a fairly decent position though. My hands now probably don't look that bad, do they? I'm just complaining, aren't I? Which I'm not allowed to do, because in my other video I said you're not allowed to complain if you pick to do something. Anyway, next thing I'm going to do is just one set of touch and go deadlifts. In general, don't like touch and go deadlifts, especially not for our clients. If you're not competing in something that requires it, for most people, most of the time. Not a huge fan of touch and go deadlifts. RDLs and stiff leg deadlifts, yes, but normal touch and go deadlifts, I don't think most people can stay braced well enough. When someone has got the capacity to do that, then I think it's worthwhile doing. But for myself, the reason I'm doing it It's not because I think I'm a special snowflake, it's because CrossFit is my main goal at the minute, and in CrossFit competitions you often have to do deadlifts, high reps, 20, 30, 40 reps at whatever weight. So what I tend to do is once or twice a week after my normal deadlifts or squats, if it's blocks where I'm doing more squats than deadlifts, just do 1, maybe 2 sets of high rep deadlifts between 60 and 100 kilos, depending on how hard the deadlifts have been for the day. In terms of building strength, I prefer to just use normal deadlifts. It's lowest hanging fruit, and in general, for a 1 rep max, you're gonna be better off doing dead stop reps. But yeah, so I'm doing some touch and go reps just to make sure I can still do the movement pattern. And then following that, some Jefferson curls, which they basically look like you have no idea how to deadlift. Viewer discretion is advised for the next clip. I've been told by Rachel, whenever she sees me doing this, it hurts just to watch. So you've been warned. And it's kind of like training your body to be strong even when it's in a bad position, which I think for CrossFit especially is super important, because one of the biggest early criticisms of CrossFit was things like doing high rep Olympic weightlifting movements and high rep any kind of strength movements because of the risk of injury. And of course the risk of injury is going to be anywhere in any position that you're not strong and stable in. So I'm not suggesting that you should train in a bad position, but I am suggesting that you should be aware of the risks of whatever the sport is that you're doing. So with that in mind, CrossFit, you're probably going to have to do high rep deadlifts. So it'd be silly to never train them, go into competition and then blow up your back. That's not something that you want to happen. So there we go, Jefferson curls. If you're going to do them, I would strongly suggest you start very, very light. Maybe a broomstick or even like 5-10 kilo bar, basically a really low percentage of your max, and then gradually over a long time build up to them. Also make sure you've spoken to your physio or doctor or medical professional or whatever you need to first. Basically, don't blame me if anything goes wrong. This is just my training and I'm not suggesting anyone else should do it. A few things I am doing with this. One is I've got the plates to stand on so I can get full range of motion. The other thing is I'm gripping with what I use for a clean grip, just it's wider than a normal deadlift grip. I've got relatively long arms, so if I was to just do round back deadlifts essentially, I wouldn't really get much range of motion, it would just be like that. So that's why I've got that set up. The other thing is I'm wearing straps for this. My hands are a little bit torn up, but the main reason for that is when doing this, you need to really, really focus on what your back's doing. So I don't want to be thinking about my grip and my hands at all. I just want to be concentrating on what my back's doing during the movement, make sure I'm in the right position, which is strange because it's like you're in the wrong position, but yeah, that's why I'm wearing them. Anyway, this is my second set, so I'm going to get on with it. So I just filmed a little sort of snippet, I guess, talking about deadlifting program, and then I ended up just rambling on about phase potentiation and motor units and all that sort of mumbo jumbo. And it's probably not the place for it in this video, so I'm making another one. So Rachel's here now, so I'm going to stop talking. Come in, it's fine. So Rachel's here, she's just got back from a dog walk, and I've got my food, so I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to talk to Rachel, and then we're going to do some more training. Say hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
So following on from the Jefferson curls, I did some walking lunges just with 75 kilos. Goal of these is to make sure that I'm strong unilaterally and not just in movements that require using both legs at once.
Speaking of the goal, I had a few questions about what my goals are, why I'm doing CrossFit now, all that sort of stuff. So whilst I'm eating my food, finishing it off before I start training again, may as well answer. So my current goals in terms of training, the big one is I want to get 200 calories in 10 minutes on the assault bike. I'm not close to there at the minute. My 10-minute time trial is around 180 calories, which is not too bad given my weight. I'm between 83 and 84 kilos. So that's more of a longer term goal. I'd like to hit 630 for 2k on the rower and the ski, and then for the 4k on the bike erg. Again, I don't think I'm anywhere near them at the minute, so that's a longer term goal. Gymnastics wise, I want to be able to do a set of 30 ring muscle ups, a set of 10 strict ring muscle ups, and a set of 50 strict handstand press ups. My best set of strict handstand press ups at the minute is 27, so that's not too bad really. That's probably the one of those goals that I'm closest to getting. My strict ring muscle ups, my best set I think is 6 reps, so actually no, that's probably closer. And then the other main things are my goal to clean and jerk 150 kilos and to snatch 110 kilos. Basically, all of that accumulates together because I want to be fit enough to compete at sanctional level in CrossFit. So if people don't know CrossFit, there's essentially sanctional is the step below like the World Championship, I guess. So if you win a sanctional, you go on to the World Championship. That's essentially the way it works. Now, in real life, whether I'll actually get to compete at one or do well at one, I don't know. But I feel like if you'd hit those numbers, then that would put you in a good position to at least be fit enough to compete at one at the moment. Will I hit those numbers or not? I honestly don't know. I keep training, I enjoy the training, I enjoy all the process, so I'll keep doing it and see what happens. Obviously, I've got other stuff going on in life, as I'm sure lots of people do. So whilst I do enjoy all the training stuff, it's long term, it can't be the number one priority. So I'm going back to the hospital to start work again at the end of July. Fortunately, I've managed to get a part-time contract. So it's part-time, so it's 80% of full-time hours. I think the longest working week I've got is about 65 hours, but the average working week is only about 36. So that's pretty good. The commute there and back is going to be between 1 to 2 hours a day, so that's going to take a big bunch of time. We've obviously got the gym. Rachel's going to basically take over that for the most part. I'll just help out as and when I can, but for the most part that's going to be her baby now moving forwards. Trying to run this YouTube channel, get this up and running. Ideally, I want to make 5 videos a week, but I don't see how that's going to work with time, but we'll see. We're trying to start a sort of clothing company, not in terms of trying to make a big company, but basically the clothes that I want to wear, I want to make, and if I want to wear them, chances are someone else does. So what our hopes are with that is basically just enough to cover the cost of buying the stuff that we would want to have. So that's going to be called Effort Apparel, which if you've seen at the end of the videos, I've got remember effort is a decision. And basically the idea behind that is whenever you do anything, you can decide how much effort you put into it, and it is a choice. That's not to say you should always work harder, you should work smarter, but there's still an element of effort. So it's up to you how much effort to put into something, and it is a decision whether it's something that's worth putting a lot of effort into it. So it's your work, it's your relationship, it's your job, whatever, or if it's something that's not worth putting a lot of effort into. So say if you're in an argument, it's not worth putting effort into that, but it's your decision whether you do put effort in. So we've got that going on. Website, I've nearly finished getting it ready to upload, so that's going to be going on as well. Rachel and I are engaged, so we're going to look to get married. Obviously with all the lockdown stuff that's going on, we need to keep on top of finances as well. We're very fortunate to be in an okay position, but obviously we want to keep that going forwards. So all that stuff is going on. So with all of that in mind, those goals that I have from training, whilst I will keep trying to do them, I don't know how much I'll be able to manage them at the forefront, but like I say, give it a try and we'll see what happens. I think they're the main bits that I've been asked about for that. Oh, the other thing. So the other thing I've been asked about was, why did I change from powerlifting to CrossFit? Long story short, I just really like training, and I like that with CrossFit you can kind of do everything. So my background was I did judo from when I was quite young, all the way through teenager and then early adult. Got injured, got some cool scars on my shoulder from some operations. I don't know if you can see that on here. So then after that, went into powerlifting, did okay, I guess. The best lifts I ever did were a 242.5 kilo squat, which I think is like 540 pounds, something like that. 140 kilo bench, which is about 307 pounds. And a 250 kilo conventional deadlift, which is 550 pounds. And a 285 kilo sumo deadlift, which I think it's like 630-ish pounds, something like that. I got all the way up to about 94 kilos at one point with that. Felt really unfit, as in, yeah, I'm not very tall. I'm only 5'6", so being that heavy on that size frame, not ideal. Started doing more rowing and the more gymnastic type stuff. After I'd been doing powerlifting for a while, started to enjoy that, liked the variety of it. And then I like being a beginner at stuff because you can learn so much. So started doing more and more CrossFit. I did my first CrossFit competition, I think summertime last year, which was the Rainhill Trials. I'd been doing CrossFit for training, I guess, for about a month, 2 months or so before that. Went really well. I think I came second on, there was a strength event, I came second on that one. There was another event that was like 2 or 3 minutes long, and it was basically just alternating snatches and lunges. So it was basically a strength event again. I came, I think, joint second or something on that one. And then literally everything else that was more than about 2 minutes long, I came like dead last, running, rowing, wall balls, just all the fitness stuff. So then I started with the Games Lab, which I made a video talking about that. So now I'm coming towards the end of month 11, but factoring in time for breaks and time off and various different bits and pieces. Probably been doing it for about a year or so. And then this is where we're at now. So long story short, I like training, I like the variety. I wanted to just feel fitter. Obviously we've got the gym, personal trainer, run the gym. I don't like asking our clients to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And I found that like asking someone to go and do a workout on the rower, I wouldn't necessarily want to do it myself. And that's not to say that you have to do it, but I personally wanted to be able to do it. And like, I'm not going to be able to compete with everyone and everything, but I like the variety of it. And then I like the way that CrossFit basically has formalized it, made it into competitions. So it's something that I can aim towards and have, right, there's the CrossFit Games, not the CrossFit Games, the CrossFit Open is something that they have every year. So it's an easy metric that you can see and you can track your progress each year, see how you go with it. So yeah, that's why I changed over. So I haven't actually started training in a CrossFit gym. Obviously, I own my own gym with Rachel, so I just train here and follow the programming. So the main thing with my program is working on weightlifting and conditioning. The gymnastics stuff, I tend to go through phases. Maybe like 3 months will be more gymnastics heavy, and then 3 months back off a bit. At the minute, because of my lat giving me a little bit of grief, gymnastics has been on the back burner. But looking to increase that again in the next month or two once it feels 100% again. So just trying to get fitter, stronger, better skills, all that sort of stuff. And in the ideal world, work towards being fit enough to be a sanctionals level athlete. If I ever get there or not, who knows? And I said I would do this whilst I was eating. Not actually eating anything. And it looks like this part of the video is about 10 minutes long. So I am going to finish this food and then I'm going to go carry on and get on with my training.
Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't see.
I thought for a second about coming back, and then my brain was like, no you idiot, you can't do that. Thank you. No, I can't. I think I've been doing that as if I have to roll out the rolling onto them. Whereas rolling onto them seems like it'd be perfect. Alright. What we didn't factor in is that I suck.
Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you
Bunch more
just
training, yada yada yada, and now I'm gonna go and walk a big puppy with Rachel. So that'll be fun. I think that'll probably be the end of the video here. So if you've enjoyed it, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. It's the best time of the day, the assault bike time. So I left my heart rate monitor at the gym, so I'm not going to do a steady session. I'm going to do 15 rounds of, I'm looking away because that's where I've written it down. 15 rounds of 45 seconds on, 45 seconds slow, then 45 seconds fast. So my slows will be 53 to 55 RPM, and my fasts will start at 65 RPM. Probably go 65 for the first 5, and 70 for the next 5, and then just try and sell my soul for the last 5. And then got assault bike arms to do, 10 minutes, nice and steady. And then that will actually be the end of today's training. Well, I'll go in and stretch, but no one wants to watch that. Wish me luck.